offensive lineman exit interviews. Is the 49ers offensive line getting better or worse?
Worse. Trent, you about to make $31 million next year, brother. And about to be 37, I believe, coming up. You're showing your age in certain instances, but I feel like the biggest thing for you is, you just got to close out your season, your career the right way. You did not have a good game in the playoffs. You did not have good games in the playoffs. Trent struggled against Green Bay, Detroit, and Kansas City. For me, there are certain things about Trent where I think is going to help him with his longevity, right? And we got to make sure that our diet is correct going into the season. Another thing that I'd like to highlight is just the MAs, the misassignments, the mental errors. I know that the hold was on Trent, but truthfully, I believe that hold was on Brock. Brock broke the pocket when there was literally nobody there. The pocket was for him. He broke the pocket, and Trent got hit with that holding. But the offsides penalties, the getting shivered by safeties and corners on outside zone, the crashing down on power and missing blocks, winding up on linebackers and hopping into them. Right now, I feel like Trent's on a certain level of play that I feel like there's only a certain amount of players in the NFL who can do this. He's kind of a transitional player. He got drafted 10 years ago, 11 years ago. And in that time, football was vastly different. So there's a lot of base principles and physical things that Trent used to have to do on a regular basis in the NFL that just quite simply don't exist anymore in today's league. And because of it, it's prolonged his career. Think of it as LeBron dropping 27 and 7 and everybody's still thinking he's in his prime. But anybody with eyes can see that LeBron is playing against a much different NBA than what he used to have to come up against in his prime. And that's what it's like watching Trent, in my opinion. It's like watching a time machine where you're watching an older style player play in a softer genre of football or the sport. So with that, I feel like I would talk to Trent almost like I would talk to LeBron in the sense of like, take care of your body, understand that injuries are going to be your biggest foe. You know how to play around this game. It's not as tough as what you're used to. And just put the final touches on your career. That's where I am with Trent. I can't genuinely tell him, well, you sucked at this. You need to get better at that. He's 37. You know what I mean? It's like, that's how I feel. Now, Aaron Banks, on the other hand, we've got to start taking care of our body. We kind of slipped. When we first got here, we had a really hard time just getting you on the field because you didn't have your body yet. You took a whole season to get your man body. You got stronger. You came back and you gave us a solid campaign. All right. This is your second campaign in a row and you fell off. All right. And you fell off because of injuries. Not only did you fall off because of injuries, but also there was a lot of processing errors where you just were confused at times. There were a lot of plays during the season where you were going in the wrong direction. There were a lot of plays where I could see that you were tapping players, asking for directions on the plays. This is all over film. All right. We just got to get you into the playbook a little bit more, Aaron. We got to get you a little bit more focused on what's going on during the games. Also, this isn't your fault, but take care of your body. You had a bicep, you had a toe, you had a knee. And I commend you for playing throughout the entire season. You had a great year as far as showing intestinal fortitude and getting through the year. I was at the Commanders game. Aaron Banks was barely playing, right? He could not push off on that toe, but he was still playing on PAT and in special teams. I gave him a feather in his cap for that. He could have sat out. So I will say that it's time for you to get stronger. You've become a good offensive lineman in today's league, but in order for you to be elite, it's time for you to take your strength to another level. Jake Brendel, smart, conscientious season, really. I really like how you set the protections this year. You did a fairly good job at understanding things. Um, you necessarily weren't given the best game plans all the time when going up
Something happened in that
against.
Super Bowl with the protections, though, not to just jump into the negative. I don't know if
I'll
it's
go.
Jake Brendel's fault. Sorry, I don't know if it's Jake
No,
Brendel's fault.
no.
Go on.
I was about to
Yeah,
say it. Yeah.
yeah.
You weren't given the best preparation at all
Right,
times.
right.
Uh During games that showed itself during tougher teams like Baltimore, like Green Bay, like Kansas City, and you showed a lot of fight. However, we don't know. That's why I want to stay away from that, because we don't know where the break and failure is for that, right? I don't know if Jake is the one messing up the call, or Jake is the one not calling the audibles that should be put in, or the checks, or if the entire plan is foobar from the begin with, from the get-go, right? Where Coach Forrester and Kyle have put together a run game plan that's not even good off the bus. So you never know exactly where the smoking gun is. However, um, there's there's not a lot of upside as far as like where Jake can go. I'm not, he could get stronger, but his body type is his body type. I feel like he did an amazing job with angles this year. He needs to clean them up a little bit more if he wants to become elite at it. Uh, One thing that I will say about Jake is that Jake's backside protection, his scoop blocking was very good this year. Showed a lot of good angles, a lot of presence and teamwork, footwork, hand placement, but his front side combo blocking was really bad. Where he was actually leading off the combo, where he was the pin and the post was coming off of him. He needs to get stronger in those areas. He really does. I mean, if you're going to lead blocks for combo blocks, especially when you need to get up top and go to the second level, you got to get faster hands. I don't know if you got to start boxing over the offseason or what, but something needs to get happen where your hand-eye coordination has to get a little bit better. And you're a center, so that needs to work. John Feliciano and Spencer
He's
Burford.
out.
Spencer Burford.
Thank you.
Look, man, another solid year in the books. The year before last, you weren't even starting on a consistent basis. This year, you have been starting. And also, a lot of it wasn't necessarily just because of your physical traits that you needed to get better, Spencer, but it was your mental acuity on actually knowing what was going on the field. There were some issues during that showed themselves last year on a consistent basis. This year, those were gone. You actually knew exactly what was going on out there. I never had an issue where I felt like you were lost in translation on what needed to be done at the time. And another thing that I'll say about you, Spencer, is that you actually progressed as the year went on. Your pad level got a lot better. I started seeing you get a lot more savvy with your hands, using independent hands on longer defenders coming to you. That was something that you started showing later into the season that I was very happy with. You've gotten stronger, a lot more confidence in the season, getting out and running out front. Now, the best thing that you do, Spencer, is when we get you out in the open field. You're an amazing athlete. You can run for days. My only thing about you, Spence, is that you get elongated when you're trying to get to the second level, bro. All right. What you need to do is you need to keep power angles to the second level and be able to use your strength. And speaking
Pack
of
a punch.
strength,
Yeah. Like when they pull him, he doesn't really deliver a blow when he's the guy you want to pull because he moves so well.
Exactly.
Right.
You got beautiful feet, bro.
Yeah.
But one thing that we are going to have to work on, Spence, is you got to get stronger, particularly in your torso. You've got to be able to take on bull rushes. That's something that's in your game that people see, that if they can just take one arm is longer than two in the league. You know that. If they take one arm and just and post you, bruh, they feel like they can get you off guard. The biggest thing with you, if you take your game and get stronger, I feel like there's a lot of deficiencies or vulnerabilities in your game because you're compensating for the lack of strength, where you're kind of shirking the responsibility of the full technique that you need to use because you understand that, hey, I might get blown off the ball. Might get blown off my track, or I don't know who's on the other side of this pull, or I'm going to fill you out and I'm going to lock my elbows out and I'm going to try to get a hold on you so I can manage you because I know that I don't have the strength inside the technique. You got beautiful technique, man. You just got to get stronger. That's kind of like your biggest thing. If Spencer came back with 5 to 10 pounds of muscle, 8 pounds of muscle, and kept his weight down but got stronger, Spencer Burford would be one of the best guards in the league, hands down. He's athletic. He's got feet. He's got a tackle background, so he knows what it's like to play in space. He's got good hands. He's conscientious. I feel like this year was a beautiful year, and also want to put a feather in your cap for how you responded to the last play of the season, where everybody was barreling down on you, and you didn't make excuses. You stood tall, and you understood what you needed to do coming from that moment, and I applaud you, man. So more of that moving into next year.
We're about an hour into the show. We still have the second half of the team to do, and we got to talk about Colton McKivitz. So let's pick up the pace a little bit, but we can't forget about you, Colton.
Colton McKivitz, beautiful year. This was the question mark of the offensive line going in, and you made it through. It wasn't pretty, but you faced some of the best pass rushers in the league, and we know in the NFL today, left tackle, there's no distinction on left tackle and right tackle anymore. They're both just as important. I like to say that I need you to get a little bit stronger yourself. Your feet are good. You're conscientious as well. Your nasty attitude, please keep that. And beautiful year of starting the entire season, making it to the Super Bowl. But at times, you're becoming a liability with your feet. Really need to work on your feet, get faster. As far as your pass pro is concerned, as far as the run game is concerned, you have the best feet in the game. You know how to get out. But that's what we need to see more of you.